Hello, just looking to do a little project today, and this is what I am going to show you. It's using a single sheet of 12 by 12 graphic 45 paper, and it makes a wonderfully beautiful box that has a hinged lid, and I've basically attached a little um, archive tab to it, so you can see there the hinges just drop out. And as I mentioned, this is made from one sheet of paper, so it all folds together after you've done several scores and cuts. So there's going to be a bit of technique going on in this video, as well as obviously some instruction. So we'll see how we get on. Obviously, if you need to stop, rewind, fast forward, pause, whatever you need to do, just do that. It's going to take about 20 minutes in total. And this is what I'm going to be using: a large paper trimmer, a large scoreboard, I'm using the hunky dory one, 12 by 12 double-sided sheet of cardstock, 6 by 12 black cardstock, 2 tags, an ink pad, 1-inch flower punch, a 3/4 inch circle punch, an eyelet setter and eyelets, some PVA glue and some 3D glue, and some sentiment stickers or stamps. So that's what we'll need. Let's crack on and get started. The first thing that I'm going to need to do is trim my cardstock down. So this is a double-sided graphic 45 sheet. I absolutely love this design and I thought it would be perfect for this box. I'm going to chop this 12 by 12 sheet down to 9 inches by 12 inches. This is what I've worked out to be the perfect measurements for this particular sized box. I will leave on the blog post some other measurements as well, so if you want to try different variations, you can do. And the blog address will be in the comment section on the video, obviously, if you need that. Next step is to start scoring. So along our short side, we're going to make 2 scores. Let me just see. I think probably if I turn this around, it would be better for you to see. So my score lines are going to go in at 3 inches and 6 inches. So I'll do the first one at 3 inches. Make sure it's scored well. And there you go, there's the next one at 6 inches. Wish I had these pop-up bubbles in real life. Okay, so now along the long side, first score is at 1.5 inches. Second score at 2.25 inches. Third line at 4.5 inches. Then at 7.5. 8.75. And 10.5. Okay, so that's our score lines made. Just make sure you can see where they are. That will always be helpful. And I'm going to grab my scissors and make some cuts. So this is what your score lines will look like on your sheet of cardstock, and the red lines are what I'm going to cut. Right, that's all my snipping done, so I'm just going to pre-fold all of the lines that I've got there, just to make sure they'll hold together. Time to get sticking now. So I'm sticking the 2 large flaps, or applying glue to the 2 large flaps on either side, and then I'm folding that side up. This is going to form one of the sides of our box, and sticking those panels together. Just hold it in place. I'll use a little quilting clip. You can use whatever you like, paper clips, bulldog clips, doesn't matter, it's just to hold it in place while it glues or sticks. on the other side as well. Now the bits that are left over, those little T sections, are going to be the actual hinged lid. So I'm again just making sure that those score lines are perfectly crisp. And then I'm going to use a combination of double-sided tape here. Using it in conjunction with a little bit of wet glue, so the tape will give me an immediate hold and the glue will give me a much stronger, longer lasting hold. So I call this an up and over fold. You first fold the tab up and then you fold it over to one side. If you're trying this out yourself, maybe even try it out with a spare bit of random white card or something first before you go cutting or folding your lovely, beautiful special card. You don't want to go wasting that. Okay, so I've just gone ahead and skipped forward. The other side works exactly the same way. So that's everything now assembled and the glue has dried. And I'll just show you roughly how those sides fold up to form the lid. There you go. Isn't that fabulous? Maybe a small cupcake, a small pillar candle, some little soap bombs, whatever you fancy can go in there. Chocolate's obviously always a good one. Now then, let's decorate the sides. So I'm going to start cutting some mats and layers. First, I'm going to cut some 2 3/4 inch squares from black cardstock. These will be for my main sides, the actual lid tops or sides, I guess. There you go, I'll show you there. So it's the one that's the full width. Perfect. Next up, I'm taking the actual oh, by the way, sorry, I'd cut 2 of those squares. I'm taking the bit that was left over from my double-sided and I'm cutting that down so that I get 2 2.5 inch squares from it. So I'm first of all just trimming away 1/2 inch from that. And then cutting my 2 squares. Also from the remainder, I want to create some panels for the sides and the tops as well. So these will be a half of the size of the main panel. So they are going to be 2.5 inches by 1 inches. And I'll need to make 6 of those. So I'll just speed ahead with those. Fast forward. Don't you want that in your life? I sure could do with it at the moment. Now what I'm going to do is cut the mats for those as well. So I'm going to need 6 of the black cardstock. And these will obviously be larger. They'll be 2 3/4 by 1 1/4. There we go, perfect. Time to get sticking. So I'm going to assemble all of these bits and pieces together. And and I'll go as fast as I can with the aid of modern technology. What I'm also going to do though is I will shade the edges, and I'm using the Espresso Adirondack Earth Tones ink pad with a bit of cut and dry foam. This gives it a slightly more distressed look and tones it a bit more in with the background. I was using the punch there to act as a weight to hold things flat while they dried. And you may see two little circles of black there as well. I've actually punched 2 circles using that 3/4 inch punch to create a couple of little things that I'm going to use later. And now I'm just sticking all the panels to the box. That punch weight is a great way of helping keeping things flat and stable while it's being assembled. There we go, so I'll leave that to one side while it dries, and I just need to grab some other bits. So I've got some Teresa Collins epoxy brads here. So they're the things that look like little gems but with 2 little legs on. And I've picked a couple from this sheet that will work with the project. Next I'm going to grab some of the leftover black cardstock. In the video I am using A6, obviously I recommend using a 6x12. That's just because after I'd finished recording the video I worked out that you could get all of this stuff from a 6x12 piece of cardstock. So I'm using these Tim Holtz Sizzix punches to give me some flowers. I'm just punching a whole bunch of them. I might not use them all, but I'm just cracking through them just so I've got enough to work with. Two different sizes will give me a nice finished result, I think. Okay, I've got my tonic flower forming tools. I'm just using the palm of my hand rather than a foam pad, just to shape them randomly. And I'll again go as quick as I can with the aid of speeding this video up. Okay, so I've got all my bits. What I need to do though is punch a hole in the centre of each. So I'm just going the old school method of using a very sharp point and a piece of old rubber or eraser and just jabbing through the centre of each one. They don't need to be pretty because they're going to be sliding onto the brad, which will give me the pretty centre. So I've decided that I'm going to use 3 of the large, 2 of the small, and then 1 circle for each of those flower heads. Don't forget to punch a hole through the centre of the circle as well. And then I'll grab a brad and feed those on, starting with the 2 smaller flower heads first, following that up with the 3 larger ones. I need to add the circle on there as well, so you can see there's the front and there's the back. I went ahead and did the second flower as well, and then reached for my crocodile. That's my hole punch and eyelet setter as well. So I'm going to use that now to punch 2 holes in the box lids. and then set the eyelets as well. You can measure and mark if you would like them to be precisely in a particular point, but I was kind of eyeballing it and guessing. There we go, that's those in. Now, I've cut a piece of string and this is going to act as my archive tie. And what I will do before I insert the flowers is actually glue that to one side of the flower box top. There we go, there's a closer look at that. Okay, while that's drying, I'll have a look through my sentiments here, and these are I believe they're the small quotes from Tim Holtz again. Plenty to choose from. I thought I'd go for something a little inspirational. And I'm going to stick them onto two tags from Craftwork cards. So these are craft card. And I'm going to use the Rust Adirondack Earth ink pad to shade around the edges first. And then I'm using the espresso just to darken those edges off a little bit more. Right, so I chose my sentiments, and I'm going to go picking those out now. Maybe I'll change my mind. No, I think I'll go with the original plan. Okay, so picking these off, obviously they're self-adhesive sheet, and then I'm going to position those on one of the tags. It was a bit too long, so what I'm doing is just cutting that down so I can put the words on different lines almost. Okay, that's those on. Going to reach for some 3D glaze now, and I'm using the Anita's 3D glaze. I'm just really liberally applying this to each of those sentiments. we go. Just need to let that dry. Now, to add a little fun to these tags, what I've done is I've taken a little sliver of whatever was left over from the double-sided cardstock, folded it in half, and then I'm going to push the open ends, or the loose ends, through the hole in the tag, so that I get a loop on one side, and I'll push the open ends again through that loop, and then just tease it into position. I'll just shape them a bit using my pokey tool. And then layering both up with a bit of 3D glue, you can see there, I think they look fabulous and they'll add something brilliant to the design. Now what I'm going to do is attach the flower heads that will sit on top and give me my archival anchors that you wrap the string around. So I'm just pushing the legs of the brad through and then opening them out so that the flower doesn't fall out of the brad hole. Just the second flower and the tags to stick on now, so I'll go ahead with that. And in the meantime, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching if you've made it this far. If you've enjoyed the video, please do give it a like and leave a comment. And also, please don't forget to subscribe and let your friends know that I'm here. I'm John Bloodworth, Gentleman Crafter. Thank you for watching.